Season 10 is finally here, and I'm going to show you every single artifact you should grab as soon as possible. Think of this as a flash sale at your local Walmart, and you don't want to miss out on that juicy deal. I will explain which ones are actually meta, where to find them, and why some of these are completely broken. Starting off with Serenity, this one is going to be a must-have for every PvP, for every PvE enjoyer. As for DPS, this thing will be extremely strong. Pair that with tanking, and this thing could be an absolute monster. I recommend running this as either a light DPS or a heavy tank build. Weapons to pair with that: as a tank, you can run Hammer or SNS. Those are just simply the best tanking options to go with. My tanking tree would look something similar to this, but instead I would drop Steadfast Protection and run Calamity Counters. Calamity Counter is phenomenal when tanking. For Inferno, I think this thing will be an absolute beast for both PvP and PvE. There's a multitude of reasons. One being Finisher got nerfed. The current best in slot artifact for every DPS build is no longer going to be top dog. So that means there's a throne to be taken, and Inferno could be one of the contenders. This will give you 15% increased damage when you hit a target within 15 meters and works with both weapons. For PvP, Blunderbuss will be extremely good when paired with this type of loadout. For PvE though, it's yet to be decided. It could be something like Hatchet, Spear, or even Rapier. There again, we do not know what weapon will take that spot, but we do know Inferno will be an absolute monster when it comes to a backhand weapon in PvE and both PvP. Nimble Cloak should still be phenomenal for healers, as this gives you a max cooldown of 8%. You can't get this anywhere else in the entire game, and since CDR is going to be so scarce, I believe healers are going to be looking to run this across the board. So if you're a healer, yes, I'm giving you some love this video. Nimble Cloak is the best way to go. Where do you get these bad boys, by the way? Well, Serenity and Nimble Cloak both come from the PvP track. You'll have to be 29 or above in order to have a chance, and they'll drop on this third checkpoint right here. In terms of Inferno and our next artifact on the list, Dorgot's Blade, they drop both from Forge, Imperium Forge to be exact. It has to be mutated. How do you know if a dungeon is mutated? Well, it'll have this circles around it, and that's how you'll have to go and grab it. That should be the next DPS weapon. But before we get into that, let me talk about Old Crown, as Old Crown is looking to be the next PvE best in slot artifact for DPS enjoyers. The main reason being is you'll be able to slot 3 gem slots in here, allowing you to fully customize your resistance to whatever you're fighting. And mutations have certain resistances. Same with dungeons, there's always generally a best in slot resistance to aim for. So for example, right now, fire is the name of the game for every mutation. So if you're running into a fire dungeon, you'll need fire gems or even opals just to slightly reduce that damage. This will give you a lot of extra survivability. Something that Old Crown should be doing very good come season 10. Next up, I want to talk about Endless Thirst. This thing is looking to be extremely strong. There is a perk coming in Season 10 that looks incredibly broken. I don't have it on one of my characters right now, but it's called Healing Heart Rune. Healing Heart Rune is basically a perk that when you activate your ultimate, whatever that may be, you'll get about 30% additional healing for over 3 seconds. And if you pair that with certain perks, you can get that all the way up to a solid 36 or maybe even 40%. Depending on how many stacks you go for. That will give you an insane amount of extra survivability, giving you a lot of extra not only regen, but when you use your Heart Rune, not only will you be getting HP, but your Heart Rune will have its own effect, making it one of the most sought after perks come Season 10. I also think Unmoved will be very strong, as you cannot be displaced, meaning you can't be CC'd, and in Season 10 we are looking at a lot of CCs coming our way, such as the bow that has Gravity Well on it. For those of you who do not know, Gravity Well is a skill right now on Great Axe, this one right here, that pulls everyone in. It's like a vortex, and that's what an artifact's going to get next season. The major difference is that thing can be shoot across the entire map. So if I'm standing up here and I had a bow, I could shoot it all the way down to the town square. That is an absolute menace to society. Also, we're getting a perk. So when you dodge forward with stamina, you'll have a bit of an AoE that'll suck people in. For those reasons, Unmoved is looking very promising. You get Endless Thirst, by the way, by opening up your map, coming down here to Elysian Wilds. and doing Savage Divide. It has to be mutated, so sadly you're not able to grab it. When that thing comes online, I highly recommend diving into it, as Endless Thirst is looking very good. Another artifact that's looking amazing come Season 10 is Blood Drinker. This thing is looking really good. Right now, this gives you negative 25% base damage, but that's getting changed to 20%. On top of that, we're also going to get more damage back when we are diseased. In translation, this thing should be much stronger come Season 10, and I can't wait to try it out. That is honestly what I'm most hyped for, because I love this bad boy. I also recommend picking up Creed boots if you can. These are farmable, so you don't have to worry. But where do we get Blood Drinker first? Starstone has to be mutated, this dungeon right here. Creed boots drops if we open up our map all the way in Ebon Scale Reach at this location. Drops from all the named enemies. It's elite zone, so you'll need some teammates. The reason why I recommend running this is because this thing is beyond broken when you have either good aim with headshots, or you can get consistent backstabs, as this thing turns you into a nuking machine. If you were watching my stream earlier today, you would see that I was one-shotting people left and right. P.S. We're going to be streaming tomorrow, so make sure to come check that out. And while you're at it, like and subscribe and comment down below what you're most excited to see come Season 10. I also recommend picking up Crescent Wave for all the DPS PvP enjoyers, as this thing will still be very strong come next patch. A lot of people were worried that this thing was going to get nerfed. It did, but not to the point where it's not usable, and I still think it's going to outshine Serenity in terms of PvP powerhouse. Now I want to alt tab here to show you Dorgot's blade, and we'll wrap up the video after that. Dorgot blade is going to be a rapier that I think will be highly contended for a top PvE DPS weapon. This thing has a passive where heavy melee attacks on both weapons cause a 10% burning. This thing should be really strong, as right now we're in a drought in terms of DPS powerhouse. Another weapon that will be very strong as well. Let me break it down. First, you get Dorgot blades, as this drops from mutation forged just with the Inferno drop. Another great artifact I think you should look at is perhaps the Shrapnel artifact. This thing is also looking very good, as headshots on enemies cause 10% bleed for 6 seconds. Works on both weapons. This is now getting changed to just crits on enemies, meaning for PvP this could be a very solid musket artifact. But if you're going to be a PvP rat and you love, and I mean love, musket, I highly recommend grabbing Lifetaker. Lifetaker is looking beyond broken when compared with certain weapon types such as musket from earlier. If you're wondering where you get Lifetaker, open up your map and head over to Elysian Wilds, as this location is exactly where you have to farm it. You'll have to kill a big boy ape, I believe 800k HP is what you're working with, so as long as you come fully prepared with Blood Drinker in your hand, you should be good to go. Next up, I forgot to mention where you get Old Crown in Unmoved. Crown comes from the PvP artifact track. I just forgot, my silly little memory. And Unmoved also drops from the PvP artifact track. So come Season 10, dude, you're going to have to be farming this PvP artifact track as much as possible, as there is a lot of good things coming our way. You'll have Serenity, Unmoved, Nimble, all these game-changing artifacts that could be very broken come Season 10 are all from the PvP reward track. If you want to know how to level this thing up, I will be explaining that on stream, but a quick rundown is arenas are by far the best way to do it. Enter the Thunderdome boys, aka the arena, and send these men to Valhalla. Just like you should be sending your hands on that like and subscribe button. Comment down below what you're most excited to see. And with that, huge shout out to my YouTube channel members.